every book has a story behind the story. And today I want to share the story of my third young adult novel, Aerial Ambitions. Hi, my name is Jennifer Gregson. I am a young adult indie author who is currently working on her very first urban fantasy series. My latest novel, Aerial Ambitions, which came out last fall, was on my heart to write for years before I actually got a chance to sit down. And today, I want to share some of the inspiration that helped me write this book, some that I knew was going to help me for better or worse, and one that was very surprising. So one of the biggest inspirations, of course, is the circus. So my main character, Roz, she is part of her family's traveling circus. They go from small town to small town, and she leaves that to go join the larger three-ring circus that's set in Chicago. And I have always loved the circus. My dad, so I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and my dad knew a lot of Shriners. I'll be honest, I don't really know what a Shriner is, but he had a lot of friends that were Shriners, and every year they would host a Shriners circus, and we would get tickets and go. And every year it was just one of my favorites, and I would sit there and watch. And I remember every year the stunts got a little bit more outlandish. I remember at one point there was like a metal rotating thing that the motorcycles went in, and I fell in love with that sort of adventure. My brother was also part of some kind of circus when I was a little kid. I don't honestly remember the whole thing, but I remember my mom used to help him put his clown makeup on. And so I was sort of surrounded by him and his clown friends. I even auditioned to be the ringmaster of the circus in my performing arts elementary school, but I changed schools, so I didn't get to do it, but I still remember how thrilling I thought that would be. So I knew I wanted to write a story set in the circus, and at one point, the whole sort of gist, the whole plot was, what if this girl was born into a famous flying family but was scared of heights? That's sort of how it started, but that never actually happened. I definitely changed a lot of things when I started writing, but that is the like sort of kernel that I had. So Circus was the biggest inspiration of my book. I did a lot of research. I learned more about the Wallinda family. I learned about little traveling circuses, and I learned about the Ringling brothers. So I had the best time researching for this book. One of the other things that happens in this book that I kind of knew early on was that the oldest brother character was going to die. Now, in my first draft, that happened sort of right at the beginning of the book. I actually wrote about the accident. He was trying a stunt with a motorcycle and fire in a big hoop, and he didn't make it. In the finished production, this actually happens years earlier before my book even starts, but I knew that there was going to be death and grief sort of built into the story. And although I did not lose my siblings to a fiery motorcycle accident, I lost both of them to cancer, I did sort of rely on or use some of the feelings that I had, the grief that I was dealing with, as inspiration. It's a hard word to say with that, but that's what I said, for better or worse, at the beginning, because I knew I was going to utilize it. I knew I was going to draw from that to write those parts of the book. She also lost her mother very, very young. I am lucky that I still have my mother, but I have lost quite a few people. And so I drew from that to help write those scenes. And I also drew inspiration from the many, many years I spent in the theater. So that is what my college degree is in. I have auditioned for Broadway musicals. I have auditioned for many, many types of shows, and I love being on stage. It is one of the things that I love thinking about even today, even though I no longer do that anymore. I really do like being in front of the camera. I like being on stage in front of an audience. I like to make an audience laugh. I love getting an applause. The spotlight is still something that is very intriguing to me when I think of famous or like celebrity. I still find that fascinating, even though I never got to that level. And so I really did draw on a lot of that for Roz's motivation, because that is why she moves from the small traveling circus to the bigger circus. She is craving more of the spotlight. She is craving her name in giant lights above the circus tent. And so I did really have to think back to some of my earlier years of learning monologues and daydreaming about being on Broadway and having my name on the marquee. And for the really, really surprising one, this book would not have been finished without Harry Styles' Harry's House. So I don't know why, but that album got me through many, many, many days of writing. Even now, when I put on just like a random radio station on Amazon Music, if one of those songs comes on, I literally get the urge to sit down and write. It's like Pavlov's dog at this point. He's even mentioned in the back of the book as part of my acknowledgement. I even said, thank you to Harry Styles for his album, Harry's House, which I played every time I wrote or edited this novel. Without those songs, I'm not sure I would have found the motivation to keep going. So thank you. Thank you to Harry for writing such a fantastic record. And seriously, if anybody out there knows Harry Styles, you let him know that I thank him deeply, and I would send him a copy of my book if he would like. So anybody knows Harry Styles, hook me up. But seriously, it is a very odd thing that I found early on when writing this book, that album just totally clicked. It does not work the same with the books I'm writing now. I have had to find other playlists and other albums to help me, but it did a really fantastic job. So it's interesting where you can find motivation and where you can find inspiration and the things that you can draw upon to get through writing, because some days are not easy. If you are interested in learning more about aerial ambitions, you can join my newsletter at the link in the description box below, and you would get the first 3 chapters free, I believe, so you can check it out. Or you can go to Amazon and you can read the book for free with Kindle Unlimited, or you can purchase it in either ebook or paperback form. I hope you check it out. If you have any questions about other things that inspire me or things about aerial ambitions, if you've read it, please drop them in the comments below. I would love to chat about my book. I hope you have a great day. I will be back next Friday for more writing inspiration.